Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Keith here, Jesse on the camera. Tonight on the bench we have our... Is this our first? I think it's our first OG... No, this is our second TRX4M. The Land Rover was the first one, but anyhow... Is it Land Rover?
Yes.
It is. It's
Yeah,
Land Rover.
we got all those hop parts.
Yeah, we spent too much money.
Yeah, way too much.
I remember. You remember?
I remember berries.
I remember berries. Okay, so anyhow, we got this guy back. As you guys are probably well aware, the TRX4 Traxxas line got an update with some portals from Traxxas. Part number 9843R. We'll check those out in a minute. But also, we got the 2-speed transmission. Part number 9891. It is a manual shift transmission. Click clack down there, and that way you can continue to use your stock radio 2-channel system. You can also just reach inside and flip it, no problem. But it would be super simple to hook it up if we were to put it into our Defender, which no longer uses the Traxxas radio. We could hook up a servo to that, no problem. But anyhow, let's also talk about this cool little piece. I'm very stoked on this. Part number 2821-port. It is a conversion port for your Traxxas ID charger, so we can plug in the TRX4M batteries, the 750 milliamp ID battery with that funky 3-pin connector. Okay, so we're going to throw this at Jesse. He's just going to quickly plug it in. I took a look at the instructions earlier, and you pretty much plug it in, hit start. It is designed for the ID charger, so let's make sure that works. We'll update if there's any issues. Now, okay guys, let's take a look at these portal axles Traxxas has just released. And they also come with some gears in the bag, 2 sets of gears. You got blue, you've got red gears. Now in the instructions, that is going to let you know that one set is for the OG transmission that's in the truck that you need to add so you can compensate for the reduction that the portals are going to add to the driveline, and the other set is for their new 2-speed transmission. So depending on which one you're using, obviously we're switching to that one, you will install gears. Beauty! How do they feel? Okay guys, so yeah, basically a micro version of your TRX4 Sport axle with a non-locking differential, except for these funky little tabs on there, which is the servo mount. We'll get into that again when we swap that one over. Now we are going to open these gearboxes up and make sure they're greased. Give them a good grease with some Cow RC Udder Butter. Obviously open up the differential. The input shaft looks like it's metal. I cannot remember if these guys had a metal pinion and a plastic ring gear in there, but anyhow, we do have metal gear sets. We're going to swap those in, probably take off the brass diff cover off the front, throw him on the front for some added weight, and get those swapped over and in. Now, that transmission that we were just wrapping about a second ago, I mean the gears for the transmission for the 2-speed, so we're going to want to put in your optional blue gears. Shows you instructions, pretty much only instructions that come with the axles. Only thing you really need, they're a direct swap over. Pull off your axles, pull out a couple screws, swap them in. Yeah, so red gears for stock transmission, blue gears for 2-speed. Okay, we're going to quickly swap over to the transmission gears. We'll just skip over that really quickly. We're going to pop these open, make sure they're greased. Okay, so let's get everything apart, and we'll see you back here in just a couple seconds. Okay guys, we have the rear portal axle taken apart open. It is just the plastic graphite gear in there. They don't use any wet grease on it. It has a dry graphite lubrication on it. We do have metal gears in-house, so we're going to swap those ones over. And the portal box is actually a cool design. All metal gears through the portal box, and that is where they are doing their reversing. You can see the 1, 2, and then 3 gears down here. This gear here is going to reverse the input from the top gears. So this gear goes one way, this gear goes that way, this gear reverses. So that makes this idler gear make the top gear and bottom gear go the same direction. Now that is why it would have been tough for me to spin over going from the bottom end. Now with the tire on and a little bit of wear and stuff like that, it'll get a little bit easier. But we are just going to add some Cow RC Udder Butter to these boxes on both sides, change out the metal gear set on them, and we'll come back as I have everything assembled and show you guys the proper tightening method. Again, you just want to make sure they're not over tightened. Now, I don't know if you can get in there and see, Jess, but there is a nice lip all the way around the casing here. Now, if you guys have been around the channel for a while, you'll hear me talk about before other manufacturers that we used to really love that got us into rock crawling, no names mentioned. Excellent. Used to make their casings fit together like that, and then they just went to the flat meshy type, which you end up with like the SCX6 transmission. It just bleeds its guts out no matter what you put in there. It's always leaking, and that's because your cases aren't actually fitting together and making somewhat of a seal like those ones are doing. So it's even glad. Does it make sense? I don't know. I'm happy to see Traxxas doing this even on the 1/18 scales. Anyway, it's enough about Traxxas. Let's get back to work. Okay guys, there you go. Truck is looking fantastic on the portal axles. This is our full option TRX4 Bronco. Only thing on it, RC 4-wheel drive, is the wheels. Everything else, all their light kit and stuff like that, beautiful. We did the custom paint on it. Absolutely love the truck, but it was sitting a little bit low on the taller tire rubbing at the top of the wheel well. The portals gives us a nice lift. Now it is just a little bit wider. I could be wrong, but if you ask me, I'm going to say it's about 2 millimeters wider per side per corner, so it gives you about 4 millimeters overall, which is good. You are going up a little bit. Now, I remember we actually changed the wheel hexes to the brass ones, so those ones could be wider. So, I could be wrong, but anyhow, it worked out for the recipe we like. Still got great steering angle. So this is with 2-speed, this is in the low range. And just reach up, yeah, right there. Oop. Flip the switch over. Now we're in high gear. Switch your typical high-speed gear, so you get your low crawler gear and your high-speed gear in the package. 2 for 1. The nice thing about this transmission is you can still run your FuryTech motor, whatever you want, brushless. Shove it in there, have a lot more control, a lot more fun. Just be prepared when you do that. You're also going to lose your Traxxas communication with the vehicle, and you're not going to be able to run these fancy, sweet light kits. So, like when I shut off the remote, it goes into, you know, blinker light mode, and the light bar shut off and stuff. Like, that's pretty dope on a micro. I don't care who you are. So, oh, well, the dogs say the night's done, boys. Jesse's got to go to work. We had a good run. Stay tuned. I'm going to throw some clips of this thing outside smashing around in the backyard, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Okay guys, end of the video time. Quick outro on the TRX4M, sitting on the portal axles with the 2-speed tranny. The 2-speed transmission does work good. Second gear is a little bit tall, especially when you're running a bigger tire like this and a bit of brass weight and such like that. But it is perfectly fine for hauling your trailer around, cruising around all over the yard, trails like this, getting to the rock crawling. It's totally fine. The motor doesn't heat up. It does feel a little bit weak off the first pull of the trigger. But we ran a full pack through it at high speed. Motor didn't get hot, battery didn't get hot, ESC didn't get hot, we're totally fine. Low speed works fantastic for crawling. The portals are an amazing upgrade to it. Now we're just hoping to get some brass into there, get a little bit more weight since we did raise the center of gravity of the vehicle a little bit. We want to throw a little bit more weight to keep it tucked down low. And going to these portal axles, we lost all the fancy brass parts we had on the axles. So I can imagine very soon Traxxas will have a nice line of parts out for us for these new portal axles. And we'll see you guys back for an updated video then. Cheers.